Hello, welcome to the Candid Cast. My name is Lucky Egede, your host and favorite coach on this channel. We are continuing our study of financial independence series, and we have said financial independence is the desire of everyone on planet Earth. I've not seen one person who does not desire to be financially independent, but sadly, only very few attain to that reality. And in our first episode, we have said you can turn your hobby into a business. You don't need to leave your 9-to-5 job before you do business. You start from your hobby. And we are now looking at the common mistakes that people make in their early years that they use the rest of their lives to regret. And those mistakes are avoidable errors that you can choose to avoid by choice. And one of them is the spending more than you earn. A lot of people spend more than they earn. We said that's error number 1. And today we are looking at error number 2 in this episode. Before we go into error number 2, I want to give you a few seconds. Just click the notification button and get registered to know whenever a new episode is published. And if this has been a blessing to you, do us a favor. Click the like button, and also don't be selfish with it. Share it among your loved ones. I want to say thank you because I believe you have just quickly done this. Now let's go into the episode 3, where we are talking about the common mistakes that people make in their early years that they use the rest of their life to regret. The error number 2 that we are studying today is postponement of retirement planning. Each time we hear retirement, we think of old people. We pray daily for long life. Everyone wants to live long. Nobody wants to die early. But we live our lives as if we will never get old, which is not true. This is an error. If you get old before you start planning your retirement, you have failed in your plans because there is no execution time. One thing that is common to every plan is that it needs to be executed. The essential thing about planning is that a plan is useless unless it's executed. It's not even worth the paper on which it is written unless it's executed. And what is needed to execute every plan is time. You may have all the money, you may have everything, all the resources to execute, but you need time. And the execution of retirement plan is not a sprint, it's a marathon. It takes your entire career life to plan and execute a retirement plan that is formidable and foolproof. So through retirement planning that will work for you, that will carry you through, must start from the day you pick your first letter of appointment. When you pick up your letter of appointment, you want to start your work for the first time. Your mind should go retirement. Where is the end of this thing? Why start a race without thinking of the end? Because when you are on a 100-meter dash, it's not the same as when you are doing 400 meters. The takeoff is different. And when you are on a marathon, the energy you need is different. You just know the end. Think of the end from the beginning. So what do we really know as retirement? We have said life has many phases, and there are phases of life that are confined to the learning realm, the learning years. I've mentioned that in previous video that from age 0 to 25, you are under tutelage and you are free to use all your life to learn. From the age 25 to 50, you are in your earning phase of life, and from the age 50, you are in the returning phase of life. So when you quit after that age, you start thinking of quitting your full-time employment. That is the time you now begin to rely on previous savings, investments, pension, financial support. So you are no longer doing 9-to-5 or earning from paycheck to paycheck every 30 days. What you have put away will now begin to speak. And that is the time. Typically, a person who has planned his life properly will now begin to think of what to give back to society. So, usually when we talk of retirement, we are looking at something that is confined to a certain age, like typically around 65. Anybody should have retired at 65. But the exact timing can vary. It is not fixed. And it's based on individual circumstances and the preferences of that person. You get people who retire voluntarily at a very early age. Robert Kiyosaki recommended that you should retire at 33. So people have their different age at which they retire. So depending on how you have planned, what you put away, you do not accidentally get to that point where you say, oh, I have enough residual income to sustain me in my latter years, unless it is planned. Attaining it has to be deliberate, it has to be well thought out, and it has to be carefully attained through a carefully executed program. So we will look at what effective retirement planning will involve, because it's not, we look at it from the financial side. Principally, what financial plan do we need to put in place if retirement is going to be worth the while? And number one that I will talk about is that, you remember, we have talked about spending less than you earn. When you spend less than you earn, you have to form a savings habit. You must save. Many people will tell you, how do you save from money that is not enough? Money is never enough. It will never be enough. It's not enough yesterday. It wasn't enough yesterday. It's not enough today. It will not be enough tomorrow. But those who will save, will save. And until you save, you will get nowhere. So building sufficient retirement fund to support your desired lifestyle at the end, it will come from your saving. Your wealth is your ability to survive forward. You know, when I'm talking about ability to survive forward, you have a lifestyle that you maintain while you are working. And at the time you are through with your work life, I don't want your lifestyle, and you will not desire it for yourself, for your lifestyle to go down drastically or dramatically, and you say, oh, the lifestyle that you had before can no longer be supported. It is never too early to start retirement savings. It can only get too late. You know, in Egypt, the story of Joseph, I will keep applying that, talking about that principle, because it is very helpful to put away 20% of whatever you earn. If from your first paycheck, 20% goes into a retirement account, and by the time you work for 15 years and you see what has gone into that account, you'll be amazed that you can even join the Robert Kiyosaki group that says you can retire at 33. So you start saving when everything is rosy, not when the problem is there. You don't look for, if you want to buy umbrella when it's already raining, you cannot get a cheap one. Every umbrella will be expensive because you are in the rain pricing umbrella. As we say it in my village, we say you don't go naked to go and price clothing. Nobody will sell cheap to you. So if you are pricing clothing and you're already clothed, then you have the negotiating power. You are coming from a position of strength. Early start can help you to enjoy certain benefits like compounded interest. You remember when I talked about the story of Ronald Reed, who worked as a janitor and was able to give away $8 million at his death because of compounding interest. His earnings were compounding. And that is what anybody can look up to. Then we also know that when you keep money away, money attracts opportunities. And I have seen that from personal experience. Nobody will carry a business opportunity to go and discuss with somebody who is borrowing 5,000 naira to wait for, I'll give you at the end of the month. If you have a business opportunity, that is certainly not the person you want to go and share it with. He has nothing to add. Number two is that for your retirement to work, you start with savings. Then you graduate into creating multiple streams of income. I've heard somebody talk about which one is right, particularly for Christians multiple streams or single stream of income. That Solomon has said, in the morning sow your seed, in the evening do not withhold your hand. He also said, cast your bread upon many waters, for you find it after many days. That speaks about multiple streams of income. You never can tell what evil will come on the earth. Then he said, what of Apostle Paul that said, one thing I do? That talks of focus. So every rich man that I know started with a focus. You focus on one thing. You have a job, you are working. You focus on it. Don't get distracted. That's where your promotion and your rise, everything come from. You earn sufficiently from there. You make up your savings from where you begin to build multiple streams of income. I passed through that stage. So salary is one income stream. They will tell you salary is income that has no capacity to make everybody rich, but gives you the ability to survive from one paycheck to another. That is the way most people describe it. But I'll say salary can make you rich, and if you say it can make you rich, you are correct. If you say it cannot make you rich, you are correct. Because every income that comes to somebody's hand, you can inherit $20 million and still be poor. Its inheritance cannot make you rich. And that's why African countries are not reckoned with as rich, because we have so much natural resources, which is equivalent to inheritance. We didn't work for it. You have crude oil in your ground, you have gold, you have all the manner of minerals. And you find people who don't have these minerals in their countries are the one coming to harvest it for you. That is the life of inheritance. Inheritance may not necessarily make you rich, just like salary may not necessarily make you rich. But what you do with the salary can decide whether you become rich. If you set part of your salary, set apart a good portion of your salary, I've recommended 20%, and you put it aside every time you earn, you will be able to create an alternative source of income. Either you are putting it to buy shares, you are putting it in annuities, you are putting it in other investments, you have mutual funds, you have bond, you have treasury bill. Wherever you are putting that money has the potential to grow and bring another source of income. So you keep creating it. It's not only one. When we say multiple streams of income, so from year to year, as we are working, even from month to month, you can decide on different alternative streams of income that will get money to flow to you. I watched the program on YouTube or on the channel of one Jumoke, who was talking about she retired in her 30s and she earns over $1,000 monthly from her shares. So she said she invested in dividend yielding stock and growth stock. These things are open to the public, and she analyzed how she achieved it. That before she attained the age of 40, she saw she could safely earn minimum of $1,000 every month. For me as a person, I started with saving part of my salary and progressed into funding small LPOs. The first one I funded was in 1992. Somebody who wanted to buy groundnut and supply had an LPO of 4,000 naira to buy groundnut and sell for 7,200. I gave him 4,000 naira to buy the groundnut, and by the time he sold 7,200, he was paid instant on delivery. I got 1,600 naira as my share of profit in 24 hours when my salary was about 2,000 naira a month. At that time, it was good money to earn as side income. So I did LPO financing. I progressed into financing local government contractors. Some people take then contracts. You get contract of 30,000 naira. You execute, they pay you 45,000 naira. We share the profit. So I made up savings to execute those jobs, and it helped to accelerate my income. I also practiced my profession on part-time. I was helping people to do registration of companies and some other things that require legal drafting that I could do without taking my eyes off my regular 9-to-5 job. And those things brought good income. That income was what helped me to start buying shares in quoted companies, and it grew. So multiple streams of income. There is not only one road to it. It is not, my method may not be your method, but just make sure you are not caged to only one line of earning. So the third thing that I'll look at, after you have saved, you are doing multiple streams of income, you look at protection from inflation. This is very, very important, because inflation may make nonsense of whatever you have planned. But somebody will ask, should we really save with what inflation is doing? Inflation will wipe out your money. I say, there is no alternative to savings. If you say you will not save because there is inflation, what is the alternative? I look at somebody that earns 2 million naira monthly, and he says he will never save because inflation will make nonsense of the money. At no time will the person be able to buy a property of 5 million naira. So if you earn 2 million naira every month and you finish the 2 million naira because you don't want inflation to catch up with it, you cannot pay school fees of 3 million naira at any time because you don't have the money. You have to up your savings and investment and project for inflation over your earning to maintain purchasing power throughout your retirement life. There was a man that kept 1 million naira when exchange rate was $1 to 1 naira, and he thought he would never be poor again. He was enjoying himself. Then devaluation came in quick succession from 1 naira to 3 naira 50 kobo to 5 naira to 8 naira in quick succession like that in those days. Before you know it, that man was no longer in a position to buy second-hand car. So does it mean that it's wrong to save? No. He was not wise enough to diversify his investment. He had everything in cash holding. So if you have something to do with money market, don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's where inflation works. If you had put part of that money in real estate, as cash was depreciating, real estate was appreciating. If you had put some in stock, stock was appreciating. So you don't have to be confined to only one source. Number 4, you have to look at health costs. Plan for your health care at old age, because you may say when you are young, oh, for 2 years I've never entered hospital. As you get older, you will need the hospitals. You will need a higher medical bill than you are getting in your youth, and you need to plan it put it in your pension planning so that it does not come to you as a surprise and erode what you have called your plan. Then number 5, as you get older, as you plan your retirement, try to get out of consumer debt. A lot of people get themselves tied in debt that has to do with consumption. If you borrow money to buy an asset and the asset is appreciating, all well and good, the asset will pay that debt without you running into trouble. But if you are borrowing to buy car, private car is not an asset. That car will be draining you the money. You also need to be working, doing something else to pay the debt. You must do everything to reduce your debt. Check your investment strategy. Because I said that retirement plan execution is a marathon. I've talked briefly on the need to watch your investment strategy. I gave an example of the man who put all his money in the market, in money market, and when inflation came, he wiped out everything to the extent that somebody who was worth $1 million at a time could no longer afford a second-hand car. So you must develop an investment strategy that balances risk and return. Don't fall for get rich quick scheme. There is no quick fix in prosperity planning. If you want to prosper, it's not something you think somebody will just come and tell you. There must be something you do now, you get 100% return. Like recently, people fell into the CBEX scheme. That's the latest get rich quick scheme. You can imagine somebody who took his retirement benefit and went to put it in there, all that he labored for in life would have gone in one get-rich-quick scheme. For every glory, there is a story. Until you get close enough to know the beginning, how each business started, you will not be able to realize that the big business you see today has not always been big, and the man we see as comfortable today has not always been comfortable. He had his own trying times while he was coming up. And number 7, you need to be flexible with your investment. Don't be rigid with your investment planning. When you are planning your retirement, some things may come up, like nobody anticipates e-head for a family member, increased school fees, and some other bills that you did not anticipate. Like with the devaluation that took place in Nigeria recently, you find that a lot of things went off budget. What you thought would pay children's school fees no longer pays it. What you thought would pay rent no longer pays it. What you thought you would spend for grocery has changed. So you need to be flexible in your planning. Do regular review. That's number 8, and that's where we'll draw the curtain today. When you plan and you are executing, ask yourself, is my plan working? Do I need to fine-tune? Is there anything we need to change to do better? When we get that understanding, we will know where to tweak our plan and make it to come out better. Thank you for staying with us today. God bless you.